So let's start with calculate only. So let me write one function to calculate the total profit. Now in this case, I don't want to apply any filter. I just want to calculate the total profit. So without any filter also you can use the calculate function. Okay, so let me show you how to write it. So I'll just click here, new measure, and I will create a new measure by the name total profit here. Equal to, the word is calculate, and then sum of profit column. Okay, so in this case you can see after comma I haven't specified anything, so it will not apply any filter, but in fact it will calculate the total profit and it will show it to us. So this is my total profit value. I can show this to you in the table visual. So this is the table visual in which we have this total profit 16 million, I think. Yeah, 16 million. Okay, and this is the total value. Now like I said earlier also, your measures are like your columns, so means they can be filtered with non-numeric columns. So for example, if I add here the product, it will show me the product wise profit. So same value 16 million gets split into multiple products, and based on products it is now showing me the total profit. Okay, so this is the default behavior of every measure. Every measure can be filtered by the non-numeric columns. But let's say if I want to restrict this behavior, then I have an option. Okay, so that option is called as the all keyword. So whenever you use the all keyword, what will happen is your measure would be restricted and you will not be able to filter it by any of the non-numeric columns. So for such cases you can use the all keyword. Okay, so let me show you the all keyword also. Okay, so let me create a new measure here. Yeah, so here I want to calculate a new measure. So this new measure, I don't want it to be filtered, so I will just name it as overall profit equal to, here the calculate function will be used. So calculate, then sum function, then profit here, bracket close, comma, and in here you have to specify the keyword. So the keyword that I talked about was all. Now all accepts the table name as the input. So here in the all keyword, you have to type the table name. So when I type this table name, what will happen is I will not be able to filter this measure with all the columns of this financial table. Okay, that is this keyword. This is the keyword that we have added to our measure. The rest of the calculation remains pretty much the same. Okay. So the overall profit is calculated. Now, if I add overall profit into the total profit table also, you will see both of the measures are showing you the same value. There is no difference as such. The real difference will be seen when we will add any non-numeric column. For example, if I add this product column, you can see the difference. So if you see the difference, the first measure which you created where you just use the sum formula in the calculate, it is filtering the data based on the non-numeric column. But if you see the second column, the second overall profit measure which I have created, no matter how many columns you add, it will never be filtered. Okay, let me give you another example. I will add country here. The second value will never be filtered. I add segment, it will not be filtered. I add discount band, it will not be filtered. So anything that you add, you will never be able to filter the second measure. It will always show you the constant value, the overall value. Okay, so that is the power of all keywords. So with the help of all keyword, you can restrict your measure so that it cannot be filtered by any of the columns. Okay. Okay, any questions here?
Can you give us any use case where we can use this all?
I'll show you, Anurag. I'll show you in this process only. You remember what happens is in organizations, sometimes you have to calculate the percentages, right? In Excel also, you might have calculated percentages, right? But what happens when you calculate the percentages in Excel, sometimes if someone changes something, the percentage value changes, right? So if I don't want the percentage value to change, what I can do is I can either keep my denominator or numerator fixed, right? So in those cases, we can use this all keyword. Okay. For example, if you want to calculate the percentage profit for each product, so in that case, the denominator should always be 16 million, right? No matter which column you select, which filter you select, it should always be 16 million. So in that case, you can use this measure to divide it. Okay, that is the use case. Okay, so because you never know which customer or which company or which client or which user can apply what type of filter, and if your measure gets filtered, your percentages should be wrong. So that is the reason.
Got it.
Now we have seen the behavior where every column can filter the measure. The second behavior is where yeah, the second behavior is where it cannot be filtered by any of the columns. Now I will show you the third behavior where your measure can be filtered by selective columns. So for that case, we will use the all except keyword. With the help of all except keyword, you can filter your measure only by certain specific columns. So let's say I want to filter my profit measure, but only with respect to certain specific columns. Let's say I only want the measure to be filtered by product. So in that case, in the all except keyword, I can specify the product as my column name by which it should filter. Okay, so let me show you that formula. So the formula would remain the same, calculate, sum, everything. And instead of all, the keyword that we will use now is all except. Okay, so let me click on new measure here. So here the measure name is, let's say I want to only filter it by product. So I'll just say sales per product equal to calculate sum profit. And now here, instead of all, the keyword to be used is all except. Now all except accepts two parameters. First is the table name, comma, the column by which you want the filter to work. So if I specify product here, this measure can only be filtered by product. If you want to specify more, you can specify comma separated here. You can continue like this, specify the columns by which you want your measure to be filtered. It will filter it by that. Now I will remove this product and I will show you the difference. Now when you see this overall profit, then you see this total profit, and now I will show you the sales per product also. So when you check this sales per product also, this will also show you the same value, nothing changes. So where do you see the actual change? The actual change would come into the picture when you add the product column. Okay, so when I add the product column, you will see profit being filtered, you will see the sales per product being filtered, but the overall profit will not be filtered. We have seen this. See, first filtered, second filter, second not filtered, third filtered. But this measure, like I said, can only be filtered by product column. It cannot be filtered by any other column. So if I add discount band here, the first column will be filtered. As you can see, the first is filtered, second is not filtered. In fact, third is not filtered further. The same value gets repeated again and again, again and again for the same cases, same product. Okay. Clear with this? Any question between all and all except? Anything? Anurag, Pooja,
No, sir.
Atul? Yeah. Now, what you asked Anurag is what I am going to calculate. Where can I use this all except and all? Now, let's say I want to calculate the percentage sales by each product. This is what I actually want to calculate. Okay, so if I want to calculate the percentage sales for each product, then what I actually need to do is I need to divide the total the sales per product profit by this overall profit, right? This is my overall profit. So if I divide this value by this value, I will get the percentage, and then I can show that percentage in here directly. Okay, so for that, let me select a new measure, because I am dividing the two measures, and after dividing it I will get again single value, so I will use this. So here, percentage sales per product equals to, let's say I use total profit, which is the first measure. So you can divide measures also, divided by overall profit. Now when you divide two values, obviously the output would be in the decimal. So when you do the divide operation, this is your floating point division operation. So it will give you the result in decimals. Okay, so this is my percentage sales per product. You can see when I will add this, you can see the decimal values. Now let's say if I want to show it in actual percentages, select the measure and click on this percent. So what this will do is, only for the visualization purpose, it will convert it into a percentages. You can see the respective percentages, right? But problem with this specific measure is, this specific measure can be filtered. So if you see here, Anurag, this is 16.6, 10, 12, 28, 13 and 17. But the moment I add country, what happens? The percentage sales per product changes again, right? So
Yes.
this creates an issue. This is not showing you the percentage sales per product now. This is showing you something else. That is why we can't use this measure, the total profit measure. But instead, I can use this sales per product. Why I can't use, why I can use this? Because this sales per product will not change. It will only filter the data for product. So now see the same value. Now nothing changes here, but the filtering will change, Anurag. Okay. So this is 16.6, 10.8, 12.52, like this, right? And if I add country here, note the percentage. See what happens in the percentage. 16.6, 10.8, 12.52, 28.40, 13.65, like that. Clear with this, Anurag?
Got it.
Yeah. So You will come
So
across
I
these
think,
scenarios a lot many times. Nobody is going to tell you this. Okay, nobody is going to come to you and say, give me the percentage, give me this, give me that, and he's going to expect you to use the all and all except keyword. But somewhere someone who has already used this will know this. Okay, people come up with different sorts of expectations and then they tell us that yes, this is not working, that is not working. Okay, so like that someone can come. One of my students came back to me and said, sir, I am plotting this visualization, but in this visualization it is calculating the percentages wrong. I told him to use all in all except. He didn't get it. Okay, but when we did it with the all in all except, I showed him how to do it. He realized that he was doing that mistake. Okay, so whenever you have to show the percentages, the values, and the values are coming incorrect, all in all except is the hint for you. Okay, so use that all in all except to calculate the correct values and fix it. It would actually fix it to a certain level where only certain columns will be able to change it, the other columns will not be able to change it. Okay,
when we create a new measure, is it gonna create new column into a data set?
no, check the data tab. See, any measure that you're going to create, I told in the first session also of DAX that any DAX variable, any measure that you're going to create, it's not going to consume anything in the data tab. It is a variable that you have created. Okay, so this is a variable that you are going to use here.
Okay,
See,
got it.
so these are all variables that you're actually going to use or actually going to consume. Okay,
Can we use them into a visualization as well?
yeah, this is a visualization, right?
Okay.
This is a visualization, table visualization. I can use the same thing here also. So bar diagram, percentage sales per product, and then product. See, 28.4, 17.96, 16.66, 13.65, 12.52, and like that. Same thing. You can use it as values also. Even that is possible. Totally up to you.
Okay.
Okay.
So is it possible to create a? Okay, got it.
No, you were asking something. I think your voice broke in between.
Got it. Got it. We can
See,
use this
yeah,
variable.
yes. If you remember, I showed you the KPI visualizations, the gauge visualizations, right? So in that case also, I told you, right, we calculate the target and then only we show it, right? So in such cases also you can use this measure calculations all in all except keyword, and then you can calculate it accordingly. Okay, so this was your all and all except keyword. Okay,
Yep, got it.
yeah. Now the next keyword that we will see is called as the running total. Okay, so how does the running total works? So let's say if I have values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what running total does is running total shows me the total value at that specific row. So for example, if I'm at row number 1, it will show me 1. But if you go to the row number 2, it will show me the value for row number 1 plus row number 2. So it will be 3. When you go to the row number 3, it will show me 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay, when you go to row number 4, it will show me 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and then in the end it will show me the subsequent total. As you can see, at every row it is showing you the total till that specific row. That is why this is called as running total. Understood? Any questions here? Yeah. Now the same thing can be implemented with the help of this quick measure. So basically this quick measure functionality is provided to you from where you can quickly write your measures. But problem with these measures is these measures can only filter only one column. These measures can only calculate a single value like that. Only those type of operations can actually be done from here. Okay, so here you can see these are the list of calculations that are available to you. So from here, if you want to create any measures like average for specific category, let's say if you select average per category, so in here you have to specify the base value. Base value means any numerical column, category means non-numerical column. So it will create similar measure that I created just now, like average I would calculate and I would specify all except this specific product. So it will only be able to filter based on that. Similar to this, you can create the measures for variance, maximum, minimum, weighted average. You can also filter it. So if you select filter, you can see you have to add the base value here. You have to add the filter condition. Based on that, it will create a measure. Okay. You can calculate difference from multiple filters also, and you can use it here, difference from filter value. Apart from that, there are time intelligence functions also, like year to date, quarter to date, month to date, year over year change, quarter over quarter change, month over month change, and running total also. So this is the running total formula which I'm going to actually show it to you. So in the running total, I will select base value and field. So base value will be numerical, field value will be non-numerical. So I'll select sales here. So let's say I want to show you the total with respect to products. So I will just pull the sales here and I will pull the product in the field section and I will click on OK. Okay, so my measure is calculated, but before showing the measure, I will show you the running total first. So if you remember, we need this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So for that, I take product and I take sales. Now what you see is the product and sales. What we want is at row number 1, it should show 17. At row number 2, it should show 17 plus 13, then 17 plus 13 plus 15, and so on. So let me add the sales running total. This is the formula which I created, sales running total. And you can see this is how the automatic formula generation is done with the help of quick measure. As you can see, this is a little bit complicated to write. They have used some filter functions. They have used all selected, is on or after, those type of keywords they have used it. Okay. So from here, I select this sales running total. See the total. So at row number 1, it is 17. At row number 2, it is 17 plus 13, 31. At row number 3, it is 31 plus 15, 46. At row number 4, it is 46 plus 39, 33, 79. Then 79 plus 18, 98. And 98 plus 20. Okay, like that. Clear with this? Any questions? This is how the sales running total is calculated. So when you want to calculate the profit, you'll have to pull the profit field in there and you have to specify the field based on which you want the running total to work. So here the running total is actually working on the product field. Okay. Based on that product field, it is giving us the running total. Any questions? Anurag, Pooja, Atul. Anyone?
No, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is your sales running total. Okay. Exactly similar to this, we can also calculate the year on year average also. Now year on year average is already mentioned here. So year on year average example is very simple. So what year on year average does is based on the current year minus the previous year, it shows us how much progress that we have made. That is why it is called as year on year. So with the help of year on year, I know from this year to this year how much progress has been made. So in this case, the formula is simple. The current year value minus the previous year value divided by the previous value. When you multiply this by the 100, you get the actual percentages. Okay, so that's how the year on year average is calculated. So for year on year average, I will take the example of sales column. So for that, I will go to quick measure and I will create one measure. So quick measure, and from the quick measure, I will select the year on year average. So let me select the year on year average from here. So this is my year over year change. Now in year over year change, you can see base value and the date that is needed. So I will select sales here and I will select date and I click on OK. When you click on OK, automatically a measure would be created for year over year change with respect to sales. Okay, now how does this value is calculated? I'll just show you and then we will verify whether we have calculated correctly or not. So I will do it with the help of calculator so that you guys can understand how this is working and then we can see it. Okay, so this is my sales and this is my sales with respect to year. Okay, so you can see with respect to 2013 and 2014, this is the sales that we have done. So in 2013 you have done 26 million sales. In 2014 you have done 92 million sales. So for the year over year calculation, the previous year value would be 26 million, and for the 2014 the value will not be 92 million, it would be 118 million, because at 2013 you were at 26 million, but now at 2014 you are at 26 plus 92, 118 million. Okay, so that is the catch, that is the catch that is asked in the interview. I'm When we talk about the year over year change, you're not talking about the revenue or the sales or the profit for that specific year, you are talking about the value at that specific year. So when I say value at 2014, I have reached total sales up to 118 million. That is the value that I have reached. Okay, so how to calculate the year on year average? So for that, let me use the calculator. In the calculator, what I said is the current year value minus previous year value divided by previous year value. So in this case, the current year value is 118 million, not 92 million. So 118,726,350.26 minus 26,415,255.51. This is the difference, and after the difference you have to divide it with the previous year value. So at 2013 you had reached only 26 million in sales, so now you will divide it by 26 million. So 26,415,255.51, and now if I multiply it by 100, this is my percentage, 349.5646 percentage. Okay, this is your year over year change growth, which we have calculated manually. Now let me show you the same value here. So this is the year over year change percentage which is calculated. It should also come to be around the same value. See, 349.46%. So always remember the catch, that is it is value at that current year minus value at the previous year divided by value at previous year. Okay, so that is the only catch that you have to follow in order to calculate the sales year on year. Any questions here? This is a standard formula, guys. I mean, this is a financial formula. You can look into this again and again, and you'll get more details of this on the web also, and they explain it to you with the numerical values also, so you can try that also. Okay.
Praful, how we are getting this formula? I mean,
This is a
the
standard formula, Anurag. Standard. This is coming from finance. I mean, even I don't know, but yeah, this is used to actually measure the year over year change. See,
no,
year
in a quick measure that we get all the DAX. So,
you can This formula is auto generated. What happens is this is standard formula now. So what happens is if you click on this, see, this is the formula which they have created. So these formulas, they are automatically generated by DAX in the backend. Power BI is writing these formulas for you. Okay, but you can see the complexity of the formula, right? This is how big the formula can be. 13 15 line formula, it can write it. I can do the same thing. Okay, uh, Anurag, but with very less number of lines. Okay, for example, I know I have 2013 data and I have 2014 data. So I have total sales already calculated, right? With the help of all. Now what I will do is I will just filter the data with 2013 and I will calculate a measure. And then I will divide it with percentages. So that can also give me the same value. Even that is possible. But in this case, the measure or the formula is automatically created by Power BI.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to show you the actual calculation, the manual calculation with my?
No, not necessary.
You can do it. You can try it also. I will suggest you to just calculate the total sales, then total sales for 2013, and just total sales minus total sales 2013 divided by total sales 2013. It will give you the same value, 349.46 percentage. Okay.
Yep, got it.
Yeah. Now, exactly similar to this, we have the year-to-date formulas also. So these are the time intelligence functions that we usually use. Okay. So let me show you the data here. So let's say you have the time series data with you in the attached format. And now what you want to do is you want to calculate the data from this table or from this sheet, but you only want to calculate it for the latest year that is present in here. For example, if you see this, so this table has data starting from the 2018, 2019, 20, 21, and 22. So what I'm actually interested in here is only calculating the data for 2022. So in that case, the formula till date can be used. So when I use the year to date formula, it will only consider the latest year as per this date column. So the latest year as per this date column is 2022. So it will consider only these entries. If I use the quarter to date formula, then in that case, it will consider the latest quarter in this date column. So the latest quarter here is April and May. So it will consider only these two entries. And when I say month to date, so as per this date column, this is the latest month, so it will consider only this as the filtered entity and it will use it. The actual advantage that I'm getting here is no matter what type of data you add it here, my entries would keep on changing, but I will not have to apply any filter. Based on this date column, anything that is latest here, the latest year, latest quarter, and the latest month, they would automatically take care of this. Okay, so to show you this, okay, we can use this data. So let me load this data in here. So this is my data. Okay, the data is loaded here. Now let's say from that data, from this data. I want to calculate the total year to date. So for this, it will consider the latest year, which is 2022. And if you check the sum here, the sum will come out to be around 879. This is the sum value which would actually come around 879, right? So let's calculate the same value with the help of DAX function. So I'll click sheet 1 and click on new measure. Okay, now the measure that I will use to calculate the year to date is the total YTD function. So the function is total YTD. In total YTD, you have to provide two parameters: what you want to do, the expression, and second is the date column, which is actually storing the date. So I just want to do sum, but in case if you want to do average, minimum, maximum, you can specify it here anytime. So for now, I will just select I want to do the sum of sales amount, comma, and the next parameter is the date. So I will just say I want to just use this date column. This is my date column. I will close the bracket. That's it. So what this will do is it will parse this date column, and whatever is the latest year, based on that it will filter the data, and based on that it will give you the latest year data. So we calculated it already. I think it was 849. So let's check if it is 849. 879, sorry. Yeah. So this is 879. If you carefully look into the formula, here I didn't apply any filter. I didn't say year is 2022, anything like that. Still, it was able to pick up the latest year and add all the entries. Okay, exactly similar to this is your latest quarter to date. So let me click on this new measure here. So in here, let me create a new measure, quarter to date equal to total QTD. Then in here, sum sales amount, and then again same formula, just date, nothing else. So sheet 1 date is what I have to select, bracket close, done. Now in this case, the latest quarter is April and May. So if you add those two, 579 is the answer. Okay, so here this is what I get in return, 579. Okay, and the last entry, the latest entry here is 456. So if I do MTD, it will give me 456. So let me show you that as well. Sheet 1, new measure. The formula remains the same, only the word is changing: total YTD, total QTD, total MTD. These are usually called the time intelligence functions, this year on year change, quarter on quarter, because they usually deal with year, quarter, month, and date information. So the next formula is MTD equal to, instead of total QTD, now use the total MTD. As simple as that. Same thing, sum sales amount. So instead of sum, you can use average, minimum, maximum, whatever you want to do. And in here, I want to use sheet 1 date. Okay. So now for this, it should show us 456. This is my 456. Okay, and like I said, the advantage is no filtering mechanism, and in future if the data changes, these values would also change. Okay, so let me show you an example. So we already have the entry for 2 May. Let me add an entry for 2 June. So in this case, the moment I add 2 June, and let's say I add 100 here, so obviously the year to date will also change by 100, quarter to date will also change by 100, and month to date will not be 456, it would be 100 now. So all I do here is right click on this table and refresh it. The moment you refresh it, we should see the change in the numbers. So let's see if we see the change in the numbers. Can you see the change in the numbers? Yeah, that's what your year to date, quarter to date, month to date functions are meant for. So if I know my data is going to keep on changing based on year, quarter, and I don't have time to apply the filters because I will have to continuously change the filter conditions also. Then in that case, I can use this year to date, quarter to date, and month to date information. Clear with this? Any questions?
Praful, in exam or in interview, our interviewer or those guys asking this YOR kind of functions.
No,
Uh,
no, nobody is asking that type. The
okay.
bare minimum that they will go to is calculate all except all selected. Okay, there are other functions also. I'll show you, like top n they ask you, summarizes they ask you, that too very basic. The important thing in DAX is they don't judge you on how many functions do you know. They judge you on whatever you know. Okay, so in usually in the interview, Anurag, what they will do is they will ask you, tell me a DAX function which you are very well aware about. So you have to name the DAX functions. Other question could be, can you name some time intelligence functions that you have used in your project? So in that case, whatever functions that you are comfortable with, for example, maybe you can say year to date, month to date, quarter to date, or year on year average, up to you. You can only specify those functions and explain it to them how those functions work. Okay. My job is to teach all the formulas. You have to learn at least 50 to 60% of them. And I've already told you calculate is the important one. So anything that I'm doing with calculate, you have to have knowledge of that. Okay, mug it up, revise it, try to write the same formula just to explain it to someone. I don't care. Okay, but calculate is something that you should be very well aware about. Okay, year to date, quarter to date, month to date, and time intelligence functions, they are usually considered the advanced functions. Running total is also an advanced function. No need to explain it to anybody. Just keep it in mind that this is how the running total works. Okay,